Okay, so in this segment of the video, I'm going to go over the account registration with the voucher. And I should probably just apologize for moving a little quickly through this video. This is, I should change this too. This is not required here. This is a pretty involved configuration of s2Member and s2Member Pro to use it in this way, because right now it doesn't do this by default. So if I'm moving a little quickly, just let me know if I've gone over something too fast for you. I'm going to put this in the forum post for you, so just reply back, and we'll be happy to answer questions regarding anything that I may have skipped over or went by too fast for you. All right, so I think that this is probably the biggest hang-up that you're facing, so I'm going to spend a little more time on this particular segment of the video and walk you through what s2Member can do here for you and what it can't do, what you're going to need to get some assistance with or maybe do on your own. All right, first of all, you see here I've created a page called Account Registration with Voucher, and I've given it a slug, just registration with voucher. Okay, so the URL here you see is just this full URL, registration with voucher, and this portion obviously is going to be different on your installation. All right, so I'm going to switch screens here for a moment. Here I am at that page. So I had already opened this up, and you can see I'm at registration with voucher, and now at the end of the link is my query string, where I'm saying, okay, voucher equals, and the voucher is going to be equal to an unused voucher code. Okay, so whenever someone comes to this page to register essentially for free, we're going to have this form wrapped inside some conditional tags that ensure that the voucher that they came to this form with in the link is a valid voucher and it is an unused voucher, so that we only allow them to register for free once. Okay, so in other words, when you deliver those 50 free accounts to the manager who purchased them so that they can distribute them as being free to their employees, the manager is going to be given essentially 50 voucher codes, and along with or you could just give them 50 links, but you could give them 50 voucher codes and then show them how to link to this registration form so that their employees can gain access to get an account. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on that before we come back so that you can see what's actually going on here on the front end. And then of course this is just where the employee creates their profile, puts in any additional custom fields that you want to assign, validates the CAPTCHA field, and they complete the registration. Okay, so I'm going to switch screens here back to my page editor where I have this page in my editor here, and you can see that I'm checking for that voucher variable in the query string. That's what the get variable holds, is all of the query string variables that were passed in through the URL. So in this example, I'm in my post editor, so you can see I'm editing post 268. That's how variables in a URL work. You access them through what PHP calls the get superglobal, and we're looking for that voucher variable. Okay, so again, I'm going to switch back here just to show you one more time. There's that voucher variable in the URL, and it's going to be equal to a value. So it might look something like this in the actual link. It might be a numerical code or whatever you decide to use. Okay, so switch back here again. Okay, so what we're doing here, this is the shortcode that produces the free registration form. Okay, and in this example, I've set it to level 2. You can change this level to whatever you want. You could have them come in as level 0, level 1, level 2, 3, 4, or you could have everybody come in at one particular level and then give certain people different custom capabilities. Like, for example, you might have everyone come in at level 0, and all of these sub-accounts you might give a custom capability to, designating them as a sub-account. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with custom capabilities, I've done a separate video covering this topic at length, and you'll find that video in the video tutorials section at s2member.com. Okay, s2Member supports custom capabilities here, even in the free registration field. Even though you're not actually selling them, you can still assign them by changing these attributes here in the registration shortcode. Okay, and you can also pass in the custom string which is common with purchasing forms, but you can do the same thing here with the free registration form. All right, so what we're doing here is we have this wrapped inside these conditionals. So this is saying, okay, if the voucher that was in the link is equal to an unused voucher, okay, then we will allow that form to be displayed and let that employee go ahead and sign up and register. If, however, the voucher was either invalid or it's already been used, then we would say, okay, we're sorry, the voucher is invalid. Okay, so this is a free registration form that has been guarded from just open access to the public. It's only going to be allowed to be displayed if a valid voucher is passed in. So here is where that PHP Execution plugin is required, the one we talked about earlier. I'm going to switch over here. PHP Execution is what is allowing you, with that plugin installed, to use these PHP tags in your page editor. Okay? And when I mentioned earlier that I couldn't get you all the way there, this is where the unused voucher, this is where you're going to need some custom coding. You're going to need a database that holds all of these vouchers, and you're going to need probably a couple other lines of code here to make sure that this voucher is already in the database and that it has not been used before. Okay, so that's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $150, $200 if you get a freelancer to help you with this. It's not a huge deal, and they can do almost all of, if not all of that coding right here in your page editor in WordPress for you. Okay. Now, one other thing I should touch on is that whenever you create this shortcode, you're going to need a way to process the voucher that's being used. Okay. In other words, if you test here in your code that the voucher is valid and it's not used, then you're allowing the form to display and the employee is going to register. Okay, as they register, they're going to be registering with a voucher. And so you need to have a routine that stores and records the fact that that voucher has been used. And fortunately, s2Member makes an API notification available to you that allows you to do that relatively easily. Okay, you'll notice here in this custom attribute that I have popped in, I've pipe delimited in the value of the voucher. Okay, and that's perfectly okay to do that. This custom attribute should always start with the domain name of the site, and in this case I'm just using it on a localhost installation, so that's why it says localhost. But on yours this might be www.example.com right here, and then you would have a pipe symbol, and then you can pop in a custom value, and in this case we would want to pop in the value of the voucher code that they have used. Okay, so now, well, the way you will receive this information and process it behind the scene as the registration takes place is by hooking into, I'm going to switch tabs here over to, okay, I've scrolled down here and clicked on s2Member API notifications, and you will choose registration notifications. And here you will see that it is possible to put in a URL to a custom PHP script that you have written that may be designed to update your database to mark that voucher as having been used. Okay, so s2Member is going to notify a custom script that you write on based on this event that occurs during registration. And you'll see there's several replacement codes that you can use. You can collect, your script can collect the first name, last name, email address. Okay, and the most important thing you want to collect is you'll see down here at the bottom, it says custom replacement codes can also be inserted using these instructions. And you see how it's showing you the example where you have custom equals, and there's localhost with the pipe symbol. And in this example, it was popping in the remote address, but in our shortcode, if I'm going to switch tabs, in our shortcode, it's using the voucher. Okay, so switch tabs back to the notification here. So this is showing you that the way you would grab this value in your URL is by using this CV1. Okay, that's the replacement code. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, and you'll probably want to review this section again just to read through these details to get a better understanding for how this works, just so you can see clearly why this is called CV1. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back up here. I'm just going to show you. I would have this URL. I'm going to take this out because I already had this in. All right, so let's just say I have a script set up, and my script is called s2API notification.php. I'm going to add a variable onto this called voucher equals CV1. Okay, because that CV1 value is going to hold the voucher that the employee registered with, so that this script receives the value of the voucher, updates the database, and marks that voucher as having been used. Okay, that way, I'm going to go back here to the page editor. That way, the next time that person, if that person had made another attempt to come to this account registration page with that same voucher, your custom routine here, when it checks, it's going to say, okay, nope, that voucher's already been used. And it's going to say, okay, we're sorry, your voucher is invalid. Okay, so that's how you're giving out 50 vouchers to the manager. The manager is distributing those, and as the employees come in, they are being validated and recorded as having been used, having used that voucher. Okay, so again, that's getting you most of the way there, but you are going to need some custom coding right here to complete the checks that are required to validate the voucher, and then you are going to need a custom script to process that voucher as it comes through the API notification processed by s2Member. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. If I've not covered anything that you had a question about, please just go ahead and post that in the forum, and I'll take a look at it for you. All right, thank you very much.